night 2 of the Big Ten Swimming and Diving Men's Championships. From Bloomington, Indiana, and the Councilman Billingsley Aquatic Center, I'm Griffin Epstein, joined by Zach Ibrahim and Jackson Kinney. You hear poolside from Gracie Barra later tonight. Last night, an exciting first night of action as we had 2 relays. Indiana won the 200 medley relay, and Michigan responded by winning the 800 freestyle relay. Now it's a full night of racing tonight. We have 3 individual events, 1 diving event, and a medley relay as well to close out the night. There are the standings. Michigan ahead by 2 points, and we're expecting it to be very, very tight all throughout the weekend. For the second time in 24 hours, #1 Wisconsin battles Indiana from Wilkinson Hall. Hello everyone, welcome into Bloomington as the #1 and undefeated Wisconsin Badgers take on the Indiana Hoosiers. Alongside Brett Smith, I'm Griffin Epstein. And Brett, last night these teams battled. Wisconsin stayed undefeated, won in straight sets, but Indiana did put up a good fight led by their freshman middle blocker.
They're going to say it's no good, did not get it off in time, so it will be a shot clock violation, take 2 points off the board. And Sanford basketball trailing by 9.
And it's a great set. It's even better to carry momentum if you can score off of that.
First bucket of the game was scored by Sanford off the opening chip, and then the Hoosiers went on quite a run from there. It was a 12-0 run for Indiana throughout most of the first quarter. Sanford struggled to find any success offensively. Foul called here on Holmes. Looked like she was holding on to Armstrong. We're seeing a little bit of variety here from the Bulldogs, trying to find different ways to get it to their best player.
Without question, and Holmes is going to try and front that if she can steal the pass. She thought she had the opportunity, to steal that pass. She did, but in the end, fouled Armstrong.
Almost an entirely empty assembly hall today due to COVID-19 regulations. There's a 3 from Armstrong. That one won't fall. Good board, though, pulled down by Raven Omar. There are about 200 or so family members, primarily for Indiana, in attendance, masked up and socially distanced. There's a drive in the lane and a foul. Nice move by Leopold, and she'll earn 2 shots at the line.
It's a good take because she had the 3-pointer. Defender was sagging off. She decides to pump fake here, and defender doesn't bite, but she finds her way to the rim and finds her way to the free throw line in the process. Griff, I'm also looking for Shantae Battle out there. She's put up some shots in this one. Nothing has been easy so far for their leading scorer.
Sanford's first 3 throws of the game. Certainly a sign of some of the struggles they've had offensively, unable to get to the line. As you see Grace Berger back in, Chloe Moore McNeil, the freshman, was briefly out there for the Hoosiers. Leopold hits her first 3 throw. The Bulldogs' 3rd straight game in a row against a high major opponent. Opened against Alabama, fell by 15, lost by just 2 to Auburn last Saturday in Auburn, Alabama, and then made the 6-hour trip north yesterday here to Bloomington to take on the Hoosiers. Penn with the jumper, and that one falls. That's a good sign for Indiana. They need Jalen Penn to warm up.
A smooth shot there from Penn. Again, averages 11.7 points on her IU career. Career high 14-point average her sophomore year. She's more than capable.
The lead extended back out to 10.
Armstrong's got the size advantage.
Matched up on the smaller Golbe. Good swing to Omar for 3. And that was good defense by Patberg. She might have got a piece of that one. Berger so good in transition with the left hand, and she'll force the foul. Man, Grace Berger is a work of art when she gets out in the open floor.
She's nonstop energy. She's constant pressure on the defensive end, and she can run with the best of them. Her triple-double was the 18th recorded triple-double in a season opener in NCAA history. She's in the record books now, and this is a player you have to keep your eye on, and you have to key on if you're Sanford, especially in transition. We've seen her do the majority of her damage, in transition here today.
The interesting thing about that triple-double as well is she can't hit the first. It was only the 2nd triple-double ever at Assembly Hall. I looked and saw, did the IU men's basketball team have any triple-doubles? They only had 2 as well. Actually, the last one was Jawan Morgan in 2018, and as Berger hits the 2nd, the only other triple-double in Indiana men's basketball history was Steve Downing all the way back in 1971, playing in the old Indiana Fieldhouse before Assembly Hall was even built. And the most incredible thing from that stat is Hill can't hit. Offensive board pulled down by Woolard. The most incredible thing I thought from that stat, Zach, was he got his triple-double by 10 blocks.
Wow.
Well, 50 years ago, a different style of basketball for sure. There's a block, though, as Nelson rejected by Golbey. And now Golbey open for three. Bingo!
Now you got to look out there. If they're running in transition and there's a trailer, she's going to be wide open every time if you can't get back.
The rejection and the three from the junior forward from Latvia. She has taken a step forward over the last couple seasons for Indiana to be a prominent starter on this ranked Hoosier squad. And now a moving screen going the other way. Woolard, the forward, was moving.
Maybe a bit of miscommunication there. Point guard moving a little bit before the screen was set there. It hurts if you're Samford because you're not even getting a shot off there. And the shots you have been able to get off have been contested, other than when you've been able to lead your players to the rim. Nothing easy so far. You can tell that the Hoosiers are in this one defensively, and if the three-pointers start falling, this thing could get ugly.
Looks like a football score. Samford trailing by 2 touchdowns. Holmes inside. She can't finish. An offensive rebound, and she'll be headed to the line for 2 shots. Holmes has struggled to finish inside, but like the rest of this Indiana team, they're just so much bigger than Samford. It's just easy to rebound.
Yeah, and Holmes will tell you the reason she's not finishing is because she's not shooting with her left hand. She shot that one righty just off back rim. But you can see she's stuck with the rebound there, and you'll get rewarded now going to the line.
Holmes is missing some shots too, which is, as you mentioned in the open, different than last Wednesday that she went 13 for 13. You mentioned it the first time in IU women's basketball history anyone had been perfect from the line, and actually tied the Big Ten record by Iowa legend Megan Gustafson from a couple years ago, who also went 13 for 13 from the field.
Now her and Berger had some monster lines. I mean, Holmes also she added 7 blocks to her credit.
A little bit more of a challenge today inside, though. She's just 1 of 5, as that 3 won't fall for Allen. Indiana leading by 15, make it 17. Beautiful move in the lane by Jalen Penn, the senior from Louisville, starting to warm up.
No help defense there in Penn. That's just too easy. Wide open left-hand layup.
Approaching the halfway point here of the second quarter. Battle in the lane, showing some of that speed, but Indiana just continuing to pack the paint.
Again, Battle. She probably thought she got fouled. It's a strong take. These Hoosier defenders just aren't fouling.
Patberg the kick to Berger. Patberg for 3. That one a little bit short. Indiana looking to move to 2-0. They've got a big matchup against number 11 Kentucky in Lexington on Sunday. Offensive foul there. Look like another moving screen on Samford.
These are killer. These moving screens are just trying to get people open. I mentioned they need a little more motion in their offense, It's just these are turning into turnovers now.
Samford has not made a 3. They've made just 3 field goals. They came in against good teams, Alabama and Auburn, shooting 41% from behind the arc. And Carly Coon said it, we're somewhat a young team, have 7 newcomers, just 6 returners, lost 3 of their 4 starters. It's a breakdown defensively there. Patberg finishes. She said we had to make 3s in those games. We did. It kept them in them, and they're not today.
Now, they also gave up 3s. I mean, Auburn actually torched them from the beginning from the perimeter because they were keying inside. Indiana so far has been doing it inside and out.
Omar guarded tightly by Patberg. Trying to get around Holmes and rejected. What a play by Mackenzie Holmes. The right hand swat. She says, get that out of there.
Yeah, exactly. Again, this is excellent help defense by Holmes, allowing nothing easy at the rim.
Holmes with the block, and Indiana's lead is 24-52 left to go in the second quarter. What a play by Holmes. Indiana 27, Samford 7 here on BTN Plus. Top of the order, and Drew Ashley leading off for Indiana here in the bottom of the third. Just 1 hit so far in this ball game. It was a big one, though. An RBI double by Paul Tates. That one right at the knees. And Ashley has to check that. Really? He asks.
Very similar pitch to the one that Ashley struck out on back in the first, as he fouls that one away. Drew Ashley, one of the most consistent hitters for this Hoosier team, hitting .350 on the year, and he's got an active streak, 30 straight games that he's reached base going back to last season.
Yeah, that goes all the way back to 2019, actually. Just 14 games last year for Indiana before the season was cut short. Pretty impressive when you can have an on-base streak stretch 3 years. Of course, extraneous circumstances this time around, but not too many people can say that. 2-2 now. Leadoff batter out of Chandler, Indiana, near Evansville. Southwest corner of the state. 2-2. Chopper to second, and Homer, and it skips, and he tries to pick it up, and it's too late. Well, things started going downhill in a hurry for Gavin Homer, and they just got worse. First, he couldn't handle it. Then he tried to pick up the ball, and his fingers were too slippery, and Ashley will reach on the air by the Nittany Lions second baseman.
Yeah, something we saw in game one. The Nittany Lions committed 3 errors. This one's just a routine ground ball, 2 strikes. Ashley just trying to fight it off, reach base any way he can, and he does reach base thanks to Homer booting that one. It's a routine play. They're not always so easy.
And Grant Richardson takes high, and Homer, as much as there were some issues for Penn State defensively and have been so far this season for the Nittany Lions, he made a couple really spectacular plays in that first game as a quick throw over to first base by Larkin. Nothing doing Ashley back safely. Larkin made a couple diving plays at second to get outs, but a mistake there. Leadoff runner Ashley on, and we'll see if it's costly to Larkin. It's been pretty good so far, but had to work around base runner in the second inning, and now here in the third.
Yeah, it hasn't been too bad through a little over 2 innings of work. He's only given up 1 hit, but it was a big one, and it was an RBI hit because he gave up a walk just before that hit. Also had the hit batsman last inning, and now not getting any help from his defense, as instead of a leadoff out, it's a leadoff error and a runner on base for Grant Richardson. And it's pretty weird, Griffin, seeing at this point in the season, Richardson's average is just continuing to plummet as he's gone hitless so far in this one. Now he's down in the count. A guy that can break out at any moment, though.
1-2 coming. This is a little high, 2-2. Rob Cooper looking on from the Penn State dugout in his 8th season with the Nittany Lions. There he is on the far right of your screen in the Gator. Spent some time now in State College, has not been able to turn around this Penn State program. As Richardson chops this one to third, it will stay fair. They go to 2 for 1, and a first, not in time. Richardson runs it out, prevents the double play, but Justin Williams was able to get the force out at second. So 1 on, Richardson reaches on the fielder's choice, and that will bring up Cole Barr.
So a good piece of hitting by Richardson to avoid the strikeout, but again, just a soft hit ball. Hasn't squared anything up today. Hasn't really been much balls squared up. It's been a pretty pitcher dominant game in the sense that they're just not allowing hard hit baseballs today.
That's a nasty slider there by Larkin. Those are really the 2 pitches for Larkin, the slider and the fastball, but the slider's the put-away pitch for the most part. The fastball is the setup pitch. Indiana's been pretty off balance. This one, a dribbler down the first base line and just foul. An awkward-looking play for Hendershot, who let it go at the last minute, and it skipped to the left of the first base bat.
Yeah, one of those balls. We saw one earlier where you swing a little too early and it actually goes off the end of the bat and it produces some funky spin. We saw it happen to Paul Tates earlier where it took a funny hop and skipped into the outfield.
0-2 coming to Barr and just misses outside. A couple of the Penn State players on the top step from their dugout voice their displeasure. Sun peeking out here. It's starting to get into the early stages of evening here in South Central Indiana. The weather is steadily improved and it's allowed for baseball these last couple weeks. Swung on and missed. Richardson down to second, will make it in time. Nearly skips into the outfield. Good job by Harry just to keep it from being a little bit more disastrous for Penn State. So 2 down, but Richardson will get a stolen base and brings up the hottest hitter for Indiana, and Paul Tates with a man in scoring position.
It's a good break there by Grant Richardson, and Josh Spiegel tried to do his best Yadier Molina impression, throwing from the knees. Doesn't have enough power on the throw, though. Kind of skips away. But it's another strikeout for Cole Barr, someone that's had a lot of those as a Hoosier.
Tates watches the first outside. He sent a double off the warning track in right and was able to bring home Barr, who had reached on a walk in the first inning. That's the lone run in this ball game. No, on the outside corner, 1-1. Mentioned Rob Cooper, and then the interesting connection is both Jeff Mercer, IU's head coach, who's out today and for the next 9 days with COVID-19, and Justin Parker, the acting head coach, both played under Cooper at Wright State.
Yeah, both were teammates at Wright State, and then after graduating and moving on, they both eventually found their way back to Wright State. Jeff Mercer as a assistant and then eventually a head coach. And same thing with Justin Parker. He found his way to Wright State. So the connection kept going there, and then they made their way here to IU as a nice strikeout there by Connor Larkin to end the inning.
So Larkin rolling through, and we've got a pitcher's duel on our hand through 3. 1-0, Indiana in front.
From biggest weakness to strength, the defensive line has long been a major struggle for Indiana football. And this year, expectations were not high. But those slights in the media only served as motivation.
You see some of the outlets talk about D-line is probably the weakest link, and we're showing people that we don't have a weak link on defense. We're all solid, and we all can work.
Indiana's D-line has been an undisputed strength, starting with a dominant run defense. IU ranks 3rd in the Big Ten stopping the run. It's a far cry from a porous run defense that last season was 9th in the Big Ten. For longtime veterans of the program, they've finally seen buy-in.
Guys just buying in and focusing on our technique and making sure that we do our job instead of trying to do everything else like make plays, just like focus on doing what you need to do to help the team.
The other change for Indiana's big boys up front? Pressuring the quarterback. In fact, IU leads the Big Ten in sacks. Hoosiers defensive coordinator Kane Womack spent the offseason studying how to affect the quarterback more. He found a simple change could make a big difference.
We have mixed in a lot more vision and zone coverages on the back end, and it's allowed that it's forced quarterbacks to hold the ball just a little bit longer.
That IU defense is generating sacks and forcing rush throws. This has helped lead to the Hoosiers' Big Ten leading 10 interceptions. Creativity has been key as well. Womack has brought blitzes from the secondary, with cornerbacks Tywan Mullen and Reese Taylor helping out IU's 4-man front. Now this Saturday, facing talented Ohio State quarterback Justin Fields, pressure will be vital.
You want to get pressure on the quarterback, and you want to be able to make him feel flustered and make bad decisions, and so it's hard. He's had a ton of success throwing the ball.
Saturday is the Indiana defensive line's biggest challenge yet. But if the D-line can continue their excellent play and support the rest of the Hoosier defense, an upset could be brewing in Columbus. For the Hoosier Network, I'm Griffin Epstein.